Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Moon Update from Astrological Association. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Alejo. How are you?
Hi, very
Very good.
good.
Hi, everyone.
Well, we are pre-record this episode because this new moon is going to happen just right before the new year, and I think we will be so busy. And it's a holiday season, and there's a lot of party going on, visiting party. So I think it's nice to pre-record this, and then it is very interesting new moon, isn't it, Alejo?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very interesting. Uh, I guess Wendy also feels the same.
Yes, yes, very exciting.
So, how about you start, Alejo?
Okay, so I was struggling when I first saw this new moon because it doesn't make so many aspects. So I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? I mean, we can go again to talk about Saturn in Pisces because the ruler of the moon and the sun are meeting in Capricorn. So I would say, okay, we can talk about Saturn. But I would say, okay, I'm a little bit fed up of talking about Saturn in Pisces. Let's change a little bit the subject. And what I was noticing is that it's in a semi-square to Venus in Aquarius and a sesquiquadrate to Uranus in Taurus. Okay, it depends on how many degrees you take, obviously, but I think it's quite there. And so I was thinking of this combination, the new moon, the idea of something that's starting, something that's beginning. We plant the seed there. I think it's very interesting that this is happening right at the end of the year, in this moment in which we're thinking about what is it that we want for the next year. And when it says quadrate Venus in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, I think it's bringing this component of something radically new, something radically different. Perhaps Venus is about pleasure and enjoyment. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, where Uranus is right now. So perhaps that's also is focused on perhaps daring to do something that you wouldn't dare to do, to follow this kind of inner desire, inner wish, inner sense of joy that you would usually not do, that you would usually not focus on. And because it's a seed, it's a Capricorn seed, I would say to perhaps bring yourself into the commitment of respecting perhaps or following or trying to develop your most crazy, wild, strange desires, which this Venus in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. This is what I first came up with. I don't know how Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy, how do you see this new moon?
Well, I think that's really lovely, and particularly with the Venus and Taurus side of it. It maybe sort of goes also a little bit to what I was going to say, which is a little bit different, but
Hmm.
so I'm looking at it from a Ptolemaic perspective. So if we only look at the major aspects,
Hmm.
conjunction, opposition, squares, trines, and sextiles, this new moon is unaspected, which is very interesting. It's the first new moon since Pluto has gone into Aquarius, and it's uninterrupted. So this new moon is quite special. It also it is a very much about it will follow the Capricorn ingress, and it will sort of set the scene for the new year, which is going to be quite a new era, I think. So this is building on what's going to unfold in the next even year. And being unaspected, I mean, on a social level, you can see, this is a new moon for the inauguration in the US. We got issues with leaders in Germany and France and UK and everywhere, well, pretty much everywhere. And I think, this is about on a personal level, this is very much about how we govern ourselves. It is ruled by
Mm,
Saturn and Pisces. So it sort of is quite testing. It's sort of because it's unaspected, it's so much more maverick, it's so much more exaggerated. So it's a very much a testing ourselves during this period as we move into quite a new era. And I know that Saturn and Pisces has sort of been done, quite a bit, but this is the ruler of this unaspected new moon. So this is, I think, very much about retreat. It's about internalizing. And I think this complements what Alejo said about the Venus and the Taurus side as well. So I think it's very much about taking time out. And it's a really great time to set goals
Mhm.
because these goals are going to be sort of set in stone. They're not influenced by anything else. So whatever we decide, whatever we want to actually achieve, like this New Year's Eve, the resolutions, usually, join the gym membership goes, things like that. Well, for some, not for everyone, but the but if you make plans this New Year's Eve, these resolutions are so much stronger than they normally are. So I would really encourage people to set goals, realistic goals, but also shoot for the stars as well. This is it is Saturn in Pisces. It's got a far reach. It's very universal, but retreat, take those goals and take some time out, meditate on them. You can, this is a real manifesting new moon. It is really quite, it's really quite strong. And we haven't had this for a long time. So
Yeah.
that's where my point is.
Well, I agree with both of you, especially one thing is like we can always look at things in different way. For example, Alejo look at it with aspect a little bit more wild, but it is, but when they say look at it from the Ptolemaic aspect view, there is no aspect for this new moon. And that is very interesting because I just saw a couple of days ago, I saw on the social media and the people are arguing even for the rulership. I was just like, people are allowed to have a different view, and then what is truth for you or what you use doesn't mean other people has to agree or have to follow you and you are not the only truth. Well, but I really agree with what you say, especially this new moon, as I just say, this new moon is just happened right before the New Year's Eve and it's a Capricorn new moon. That was quite interesting because this moment usually we are partying and
Yeah.
we have a lot of party, food, drink. But this new moon just happened right before the New Year's Eve. It's like a reminder, say, well, don't party too hard. You better to think about,
Yeah.
a work or think about your plan ahead, like when you say the New Year resolution. And I think it is very, very interesting about uh, this new one, especially I also agree that when I see the chart, I just like, oh, there's no very obvious aspect, and so when they open an aspect view, and it's beautiful with that retreat. But I just want to remind that uh, interesting aspect of the Mars Pluto opposition. It was just starting from the November, and then it's going to happen again in January, and then by the I think end of April, it will opposite again. So three hits are linking together. So what's happening? What we are experiencing around this New Year's period, we can in one way reflect back to the November to see what happening that time. Do they have a similar theme? Because we can expect it. We're going to encounter the similar experience, not event, but a similar experience or feeling around the end of April. So I think that would be, that would be a thing to what we can observe around this time, isn't it?
Yeah, and what Wendy was saying about this idea of retreat, I think it's very powerful for this new moon because I was thinking that during this lunation, of course, Mars is retrograding, but during this lunation, Mars will go into Cancer. So again, there's going to be a shift in the energy of Mars. It's already shifting, of course, because it's retrograde, but in this retrogression, it's changed its qualities, right? So from Leo, which is much more extroverted, to Cancer, which is more focused perhaps on the inner world. Even though it's a cardinal sign, there is this watery element, of course, to it. And I was also thinking that I think just before this lunation ends, so just before the next lunation, the nodal axis will change. I guess it depends if you use the true or the mean node. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like the nodal axis is also about to change. And Wendy was talking, this is the first lunation after Pluto changed. And she was saying, this year is so much about change, right?
Yeah.
And I think during this lunation, we might already experience a shift. Like this shift will happen in layers. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's a process that's been going on, and we reach to this point, and it's going to keep going on in different layers. And so this idea of retreat, I find it quite interesting when we think that Mars is going to retrograde into Cancer, the North Node is going to go into Pisces. So there is this sense of going inwards, perhaps, or going less explosively out there and kind of connecting more with the world within.
Yeah, lovely. And I think also building on what you said earlier, when you're looking at I see minor aspects, the semi-square, sesquiquadrate is quite external to us rather than, internal. And the Venus and Aquarius and the Uranus and Taurus, of course, they're in mutual reception. So they're in each other's signs. They're very comfortable. But I think it's also that does is, in terms of the retreat, in terms of internalizing, it's a little bit brings in the sky father, the sky cosmology. So it's also exploring our own relationship with the sky, with the planets.
Mm,
It's sort of, and Saturn and Pisces as well asks us about our place in the universe. And that sort of exploration, internal exploration, can be quite profound, I think. And that is, when you look at the new moon as unaspected, it will be profound. It will be like, the sky is going to come into the media in some way in the next month. And, it's also very, I find, quite environmental. When you've got Venus and
Mm.
Aquarius and Uranus and
mm,
Taurus, you're talking about the sky, the Earth Mother, Gaia, Uranus. And with Saturn and Pisces as well. So it's a bit like, it's actually really getting in touch with not just the sky, but who we in touch with the environment, our surroundings, that which
mm.
is external. So it's our relationship with that, I think, with all all these sort of interesting points that lead off from this new moon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting, especially when we see the things around this time, or all the aspect around this time, and there is the kind of a shiftment there. So before we move forward, even we are not there yet. From my view, the 2025, we are not really just like a go like that. We will like go and come back and go and come back. So during this time, I think prepare and like you said, go perform. It really gives us a chance to find our own anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also am thinking now, I'm being triggered so much with not triggered, like I'm all of these thoughts are coming up now, and I think it's so inspiring what you're both saying. I'm thinking with this idea of commitment that Wendy started talking about, and now she's bringing in the environment. I'm thinking about all of these discussions or conversations that come up about how to celebrate New Year, whether we
Mm,
should use fireworks or not, how much food we should prepare. So
Yes.
there's always food that then we
The
don't eat.
waste.
Yes.
Waste and loads. Yes, yes, yes. And
I,
because that's the thing with the Venus and the Uranus and Taurus, and so it's about
yeah,
indulgence as well, isn't it? And Saturn
yeah.
puts a bit of a lid on that, sort of squeezes it a bit. And yeah, that exactly it is. It's like, yeah, not so much and not so much waste and
yeah.
being conscious of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
beautifully well said. So, well, I think this episode will be released just right before the New Year's Eve. So, I think we probably have to say Happy New Year to everyone, but we are not finished yet because I think we are planning a lot of event next year, right, for 2025. The most important is our, I think Kepler Day is going to happen in January, and this is more very different from the astrological conference, right, Alejo?
Yeah, and it's actually quite into the vibe of Capricorn Aquarius, maybe, because it's about a kind of scientific research. It's about research in astrology, but more drawn from statistics and through methods of research that are kind of hard, as they explain, as they say, they call them. So the idea is that researchers will come and they will present their data, what they have researched, in a way that people who may not be trained in using this kind of
Hmm.
statistics can actually understand and can actually get this information. And as far as I understand, Wendy, it's going to be also there's going to be this opportunity for some interaction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hybrid conference. So it's in Canary Wharf in London, 25th and 26th. It's in conjunction with the University of Wales, Trinity St David. So that will be the Saturday. The AA conference will be on the Sunday. So it's a collaboration weekend. So you can come in person. It's very reasonable. It's set at academic prices, and you can also come online as well, and you can check it out on the website.
Cool, cool. And another big event, yeah, toward the end of the year, not really end, but I think it's at mid of the year, end of August to the beginning of September, our big event. We are getting ready there, right, Wendy?
We are. Bookings will open beginning of February. You'll get all the list of speakers. It's going to be very, very exciting, and you can book early Feb. There'll be early bird prices, so get in quick. It's going to be great. It's in Nottingham, and you'll see Alejo's fantastic video, Robin Hood theme in terms of
Yeah.
freedom fighting, or not, well, not freedom fighting, but freedom orientated. Be careful my words here. Yeah, and it's going to be really fun, and it's really nice. We're starting to all get back together again. The community's starting to, hold hands again after quite a few different, years. And that's the other thing. All the planets next year are going into air and fire, so the energy is shifting on such a huge level. I know that's not new moon business, sorry, Rod, but
No, that's all right.
it's the start of the new year. It's the start of the new year, so it's going to be a really, really fresh, fast, and frenzied, time. So the conference will be embracing that for sure.
Definitely, so cool. But also, I think our new magazine, Stellar, is very popular at this moment, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah, it's wonderful. Go online, read it. It's free, distribute it, send the link to everybody you can, and join up to receive it every time it comes out bi-monthly.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Alejo, how about the astrological duet? Any plan we are going to, for the 2025?
Yes, we're going to continue with the astrological duets. We still haven't set the dates because we're still finishing to arrange who is going to come to each session. But it will soon be, I'd say probably in January, we might take a break from the duets. But from February onwards, we should definitely have the dates and what theme for each meeting. But also, since we're talking about this, if anybody has suggestions or if there's any theme that anybody would like for us to address, of course, let us know through our email.
Well, definitely. Well, I think for 2025, although we have a lot of uncertainty, but astrology is always there. Astrology is our guide, our anchor, So I think embracing this astrology, I'm so grateful to have this tool in my life. Well, so by the end of this episode, I really want to wish everyone have a very happy 2025. Alejo. And Wendy, you want to say something?
Happy New Year, everybody! Happy New Year!
I was like, you are quiet. Usually,
because I thought you were going to cut. I thought you were going to cut. Happy New Year, everyone. Yes.
Well, guys, see you next new moon then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.